Rolling along here, we've got the United States Championship match between Dean Ambrose and Kane, and this is where everything kind of went downhill, as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was way too slow, and the first two matches were good, and I really wanted them to ride that momentum, and this really, slowed down to a halt, and I was disappointed. Actually, the only part that I thought was really interesting was Dean Ambrose trying to do old school.
Yeah. And that's
that was
basically, well, it's been basic. It was no different than any Kane match on television. I think that was kind of the problem, but you could tell that they were kind of pressed for time. You knew they weren't going to be given a whole lot. I don't get the point of protecting Kane unless they're going to have the feud continue. I didn't get the point of the no finish.
Yeah, that was stupid too.
I didn't understand. I mean, Kane can lose cleanly to Drew McIntyre in an Intercontinental title reign, but Ambrose, who's a guy that they're pretty high on and highly invested in the Shield, you can't take a pin from him. I didn't understand that. Unless it's a way to continue this feud, I really can't. I have a big complaint on the finish, but it was just average. Just middle of the show, kind of was slow. Was the usual pace that you'd expect out of just a regular Kane TV match. There was nothing super special about it at all. It was just basically a spot filler on the card, is how it came off.
Mm-hmm.
The way to get Ambrose on the show.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was awful. I mean, it wasn't horrible or anything like that. It was just sort of there, is the best way to.
I noticed that when they elevate the Intercontinental title, they take focus away from the United States title. When they elevate the United States title, they take focus off the Intercontinental Championship. So having both titles on the card, I think they kind of
had
rushed
to suffer.
Yeah, and they rushed what they wanted to do with Ambrose. Hopefully, they can start building up more contenders and giving the Shield other teams and other contenders for the United States Championship. And Kane moves on to something else because it was slow. It just felt like one of those matches that were really drawn out. I wasn't paying much attention to it, for me, that's kind of weird because I usually, I love Ambrose matches, but this one it wasn't that great.
Although I noticed that Ambrose did pull off a Christian-like corkscrew elbow during the match.
Speaking of Christian, that looks like who we might be feuding with now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, or maybe Van Dam even gets a shot after he returns next month. So we'll see. Hopefully somebody better than Kane. That's basically it.
What did you think, Peyton?
I really tuned out during this match, honestly. I had no interest going into it. It was a last-minute match made on Raw just because it was some random people they could put together. I mean, it was like, oh, let's switch things up. You thought that it was going to be Randy Orton and Ambrose and Team Hell No and the other two guys. Well, nope, we're going to do it this way.
But at least, to be fair, Kane has been feuding with all three of them. So in a way, it kind of made sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
It just seems like a switch up for the sake of a switch up. And
it wasn't out of the ballpark, but it was.
Yeah.
It was kind of. It was a last minute random decision, but it wasn't like Kane. I can't even remember the last time Kane had anything to do with the Shield. Kane's been busy with the Shield.
Yeah, it was just an excuse to team Orton and Bryan up, and then what are we going to do with Ambrose and Kane? Okay, we're going to put them in a title match. Okay. Yeah.
The match itself, though, was pretty boring, and I think what it exposed is who the real weak link of Team Hell No was.
Indeed. Simple as.
Yeah, and I can see why they would want to continue this to drag it out a little bit more, but I'm kind of over it. I want something else.
I don't think they're going to continue.
Yeah, cut your losses and start developing a better feud.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else to add to this, or should we just move
as
right
far
on?
as the match goes, that's about as much as you're going to get out of this one.
Mm-hmm. All right, then. We're going to move on again and go to something that probably is going to get a lot more, or it should at the very least, a lot more discussion, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, boy.